Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy VII. We're in for a doozy of a part here. As anyone who knows about the Whirlwind Maze knows, this is where things get out of control. We're gonna have, as you can see from the time of this part, it is quite long. And as we can see from the villains just straight up flying towards us, Heidegger, Rufus, and Scarlet, all three of the Devas, minus Palmer, who's dead, are here. He's not actually dead. He might be dead. I don't think he's seen in the game again. But we're at the Northern Crater. This is where everything converges. The Promised Land, all that stuff. The reunion is at hand. And it's not even a reunion just to the people they expected. Oh, also Hojo's here, being Hojo. Hojo, you still a freak. So, what is the reunion? Well, the reunion is something that we'll get to see soon enough. And it's actually being used in the marketing for the Final Fantasy VII Remake, also being like, hey, the reunion of us with Cloud. Anyways, look at these dudes. These are the black cloak dudes we've seen kind of going around. They're just kind of trying to get across. So if you go across when the wind is down, you get to get through. If you're going when the wind is up, you get knocked back and fight an enemy. So be careful. Don't get hit by one. I will get hit by one later. So between parts, we've actually now finally seen, look at all these dudes. We've actually seen finally footage of the Final Fantasy VII Remake, which, boy, does that look good. And it's only going to be Midgar, but it's going to be expanded out to a full game, and I cannot wait. So yeah, these dudes are going around. We got the Kaizer Knuckle. It has a lot of materia slots, but is overall weaker. Don't equip it. The Dragon Claw's better. These dudes here are all kind of dying, and we go up and talk to them, and they super die. So, the numbered characters are going to be a plot point pretty soon. But before that, we have some important encounters. One, we have these guys who are just straight up called Goblins, or Gremlins, sorry. Gremlins. I love them. They're horrible. They get angry as they're attacked and will do Fury, which does different things. They can use Badmouth, which inflicts a character with sadness, but it's not dangerous. And the other thing in the background is a sculpture, which is just a rock with fire coming out of it. It's a bit strange. It says if you use holy attack, such as Alexander linked Elemental, which is like, whoa, you can do that. I never even knew about that. Thank you, Wiki. Or Alexander, you'll destroy them instantly, which is, hey, quite useful. Yeah, Alexander being like the only holy element thing is crazy, because then if you want to use it, then you can, right? You can use that element that a lot of things are actually weak to. So we got Red 13 with us, switching it up, giving him some time in the sun. But yeah, this thing is just a straight up sculpture. It's a bit wild. Final Fantasy VII enemies are wild, and I'm very happy we see a lot of those weird dudes in the footage of the remake. There's the little flying dudes in Midgar, the little amoeba-like ones. Pretty much every enemy that's been seen so far is like, yep, that looks exactly like how it did in 7, just all HD'd up and stuff. So this one's the tougher one. You have to get through when that wind ain't gonna push ya. And it's a bit tough to tell because of depth perception. Like, how close are you, right? So I missed it. That's embarrassing. You get knocked down and you have an instant encounter with none other than the Wind Wing. You can fight an infinite number of these guys because you will keep running into them and keep hitting them. They're very easy. But these dudes can give you White Wind, which is still one of the best enemy skills. However, and this is crazy, you can't get it by manipulating them. You have to confuse them, and occasionally it may cast it on the party. So if you didn't get White Wind earlier, then you wouldn't get it now. Anyways, hey, here's a Sephiroth. He's just here killing his little cloak dudes. So, and as we see here, this is the end of this body's usefulness. He disappears and turns into something else. As we can see, there's like steam coming up. which then we will see right away. So the purpose of the Sephiroth bodies, because it's not the real Sephiroth, is to deliver Sephiroth bodies, and the Black Cloak people is to deliver the black materia. So, has there been a character in our party that has been delivering black materia? It might make you think this is a bit strange. And Cloud is now calling him master. And I don't think he made a contract to be a servant. So it's like, what's happening? And he's even, like, talking to him. He's going nuts. Oh, here he is. At least what we think is him. What we think is he. God, that walk is so lame. So, as we're learning very quickly, and as you would know if you played this game, Cloud is a very unreliable narrator. Anyways, we have our boss here. This is Genova Deck. Now, Genova Deck is actually a boss that you could turn into being unable to physically kill you. All of Genova Deck's attacks are fire elemental, meaning if you have one thing that absorbs or even just nullifies fire elemental stuff on you, you're fine. You will absolutely not be able to be harmed by it. And of course, being a boss, let's bring out the big boys, the summons here. And if you have the ribbon on, you won't be affected by its status ailments either. So you can get all those sorts of things completely gone. You can paralyze it, which apparently you can do through cross slash, or using an item that does it. Anyways, here is Neo Bahamut. Neo Bahamut being, of course, just a cooler version of Bahamut, which is crazy because Bahamut's already King of the Dragons. So how do you improve the King of the Dragons? Answer, you make him look more mecha-like. Look at those cool wings! It looks like Examon from Digimon, and it's so dope! He even has like a Lu Bu style like head thing. So there are 3 Bahamuts in the game. There's even more if you look at every version of Bahamut across Final Fantasy VII's compilation. But it's so cool. It's so cool. I love Bahamuts. And we'll even use the regular Bahamut just to be like, yeah, let's use these. There is one more Bahamut. And in the updated PS4 version, you do have actually trophies you can get by getting all 3 Bahamuts. So we'll get that later, because I do get all 3. So just to let you know, like, oh yeah, that's kind of how the difference is. Bahamut's just a dragon. And then Neo Bahamut is much more than a dragon. He's super dope. But yeah, we're going a bit crazy with using the summons here because, well, we're at a boss, right? And we do get this sick song. So I guess I could talk about now a bit more of the Final Fantasy Remake here and kind of what I'm excited for it. Boy, just the idea of taking. Oh, hey, bad breath. Let's see how this works. Answer. Don't think I got anything. Just seeing Midgar expanded out to be its full potential, seeing side quests with those characters from the start of the game. I think I remember in previous parts too, I even talked about how I really want to see it expanded. I'm very happy that's the case. There's just a lot to that remake that looks like it'll be really fun to see recontextualized for this. And the way that they are also tropical wind, is that really what we're calling this fire attack? That's a bit strange. There's a lot with like looking at how Sephiroth is going to appear earlier and the black things that fly at Aerith, which makes me go, I have an idea on what those may be, which we will discuss later. But for now, we're gonna see if we can get rid of the silence on us. I think we have, an echo screen. We have a bunch of echo screens. So you don't want to use one that gets rid of all status things, because then you would not be able to use your haste would go away, and haste is really good to have. And then I'm like, hey, don't we have a bunch of, like, items and stuff we could use? Because I never use them. You know, I could easily save them for later, but that's fine. Let's throw up a Turbo Ether. Yeah, but honestly, I could get into a point where if I realized that all of his attacks were fire-based, I would not have to worry about this and just kill it without worrying. But that's fine. So, slow does work on a number of bosses, which does make life a lot easier, but you don't need to. I'm not going to try and morph the boss. In fact, I don't think there are bosses you can morph. I don't know why I'm so indecisive. Let's see here. Yeah, you can't morph it. It does drop the Reflect Ring with 100% chance, and the Reflect Ring starts you up with Reflect, which is quite nice. That makes it so that any magic will immediately be deflected, and you don't have to worry about that. Boy, Big Guard is sure the best. Red Light. I mean, that is what it's doing, but... So there's actually HD artwork again of this from Mobius Final Fantasy, so you do get to kind of see what Genova would look like in HD, and boy, it's horrible. I do have a lot of problems in fiction with, like, body horror mutant stuff, but I think this, you know, retro graphic here makes it fine. Also, good job missing me, probably because we were already buffed, so it doesn't matter. But that's how it goes. But yeah, this boss ain't too difficult, but we do get more of that sick battle music. So how about that Tifa redesign being absolute perfection, huh? It's really good. Oh, one thing I did want to talk about. I really recommend, if you're into Final Fantasy VII, to go watch the video by Maximilian Dude called Max's Insane Final Fantasy VII Story. It's about him at E3, and it is one of the... It's one of the few YouTube videos to not just make me cry, but also people who don't even know him. Anyways, we killed Genova here. So, or a Genova. So this Genova reunion is about all of the Genova cells wanting to get back together. So, right now, all these dudes in the black cloaks have Genova cells in them. Now, here's the thing. And we'll talk about this later, but I'm going to get into it now. This game has the word clone mistranslated. It actually just means copy, but not even like a genetic copy. So we'll get to that when we get to that. But, hey, we got the black materia. Well, that's good. Now let's hope, you know, all we gotta do is defeat Sephiroth and we'll go home. And, Tifa's like, don't you take the black materia. And then I'm gonna be like, okay, we'll give it to Ketchi. Ketchi might be able to take it, or Barrett, or someone. You know, like I'm talking to people like, hey, Vincent. And Vincent doesn't want to. Sid hates it. Yuffie, she doesn't want it. She loves materia, but not that materia. Ketchi is like, nope, not me. Barrett, we can trust him. And he just swore. What a bad boy. So Barrett it is. I think you can give it to Red 13. Which I would not personally do. I would rather go and probably give it to... Because Tifa, we would not put Tifa in harm's way. So yeah, we're going to give it to Barrett. Claude's like, don't do what I did and accidentally give it to the bad guy. And we'll see how well that goes, I guess. And is something going to happen? Okay. Be careful. And Tifa here says, let's go find Sephiroth. So, that's our current quest. Hey, look at this materia here. It's yellow, but it's MP Turbo. That is an error. MP Turbo is blue. So it just, you use extra MP, and it does more damage when you use the spell, which is cool. It's a good way to kind of augment it. And we have up here a poison ring. It prevents poison. Obviously. Hey, we got a dragon rider. So when I look at this dude, my mind first goes to, oh, I could totally steal your weapon and give it to Sid, but you can't. You also can't manipulate it because it's like 2 dudes in one. That's honestly, for me, whenever I see any enemy in a JRPG who's holding a weapon, my immediate thought is I am going to take it for myself. Oh, one other cool thing. So they, for the remake, you can actually see their weapons, and that makes me happy, because one of my favorite things about this game is, yeah, this is one of those games where you can see their weapons, and it looks so cool, and I'm very happy, because I love that. So we can go up here, and, oh boy, now we got thunder, lightning, wind, all that bad stuff, so we gotta run through when we get the chance. Which will be now. It didn't work. So this thing, I actually have a really difficult time actually seeing when you need to go. This one is the last and toughest one, and I think I lose it like 3 times. But that's fine, because this dude is so easy to kill. Like, watch. Yoink. Easy peasy. No problema. Let's try that again. So yeah, the Dragon Rider, I didn't say much about him. It says it's a dangerous enemy when fought. It deals heavy non-elemental damage with its headhunting, and he has headhunting 2, which can also do a lot of damage. He can be morphed into mind sources, though, which are items that permanently increase your magic. Meaning, hey, guess what? If you want to get really strong, fight that dude over and over and keep morphing him. I am not good at morphing. I don't think I morph once in this game, because I think I do it once, but then I'm like, I'll stick with manipulate. Of which I don't expect those to be in the remake, because they're just too kind of weird. It'd be cool if you could use manipulate and, oh, I only did it once. Are you serious? That's insane. It would be cool if you could like play as them temporarily, but I doubt that will happen. Anyways, yo, what's happening? Tifa, calm down. I'm sure everything will be fine. Sephiroth's mind poison like sin, and uh-oh, why are we back in Nibelheim? And even Red 13's like, I don't know where this is. I love Red 13's machine abridged voice. It's the best, but also the least accurate, because Red 13 is apparently voiced by Liam O'Brien in extended media, but that won't be the case in the remake, because they got a whole new voice cast. But it is interesting that they said, just because they got a new voice cast doesn't mean that they're going to use it for everything, it's just for the remake. And hey, we know what happens. Cloud walks up here with Sephiroth, everything's fine. Yeah, we've gone through this before, right? Yeah, he's saying this is Sephiroth going to do his mission. And so there's us. Who is this black-haired dude that will have many, many, many fangirls? And Cloud's like, yo, this is dumb. You're tricking me. You're not gonna confuse me. But, oh boy, here's where we learn the big plot twist to this game. Red's like, it's just an illusion. And Tifa's even saying, hey, don't worry, it's fine, whatever. It's not like... Oh, Tifa's not having this. This is such a mind trip section. Yeah, so Sephiroth set everything on fire, and Cloud's like, yep, this is what happened. Which is weird, because then we went back to Nibelheim and it was fine. But then Cloud's like, yo, but wait, who's gonna try and show us another stupid trick? Dude's using Photoshop with the Photoshop vision. Yeah, who's this fellow? Who's this dude who we don't know? Unless you live in 2019 and know that this dude is actually super well known. Yo, I can't wait to see Zangan in HD. Let me see him be all buff and stuff. So this really reveals Tifa's scars too. And how she's also a person who's greatly in denial. I wouldn't say Final Fantasy VII's story is confusing, but it is definitely deeper than what's on the surface, right? I mean, anything with an unreliable narrator will certainly be. I can't stop, though, hearing Justin Briner's Cloud. Yeah, the guy who voices Dub Deku. Like, that to me, that's a real good Cloud voice. Well, I mean, you are doing that with the plot, that's for sure. For most people. But once you play through the game, it makes more sense. And then, if you forget about the game, then it makes less sense. But then you go back and it makes more sense. It's one of those things that, like, if you experience through the game, it'll be understandable. But as you forget over time, yeah, it's easy to mix up some certain things. Cloud's like, whatever, I don't believe you, dude. And Red's like, he has nothing to say. What about you, dead person? No, you don't even see me. Cloud's like, I don't care. So here we go. A failed experiment. Hojo? What does he have to do with him? Exactly. Thank you for taking the words out of my mouth, Cloud. So, yes. We are... Okay, so... This is not... Okay. Cloud had a childhood. This is the thing that's wrong. And he's not a clone. But he was given Sephiroth cells. That's where this game actually gets a bit wrong. Not clone in the sense of born and is a genetic copy, but clone in the sense of was brought back to life with Cloud cells, Sephiroth cells, and now has Sephiroth's kind of DNA in him, which is then, of course, Genova's DNA. So he's actually... Sephiroth is wrong about some of this. At least the translation is. Cloud did have a childhood. At least as far as I'm aware. As far as I know, I could also be wrong. That's what I took this as, because I had to browse the wiki to be sure. And under the page of the Sephiroth clone, it says here, where does it say here? It does say clone is a Yeah, in the original Japanese scripts, the clones were known as Sephiroth copies. Clone is a misnomer. Subjects were injected with Genova cells to produce a similar effect to that of Sephiroth, who eventually exerts control of the subjects as puppets rather than being genetic copies. So it just means someone who is under control, not exactly someone who is a genetic clone born from birth. Because, no, Cloud had a childhood. But then things went a bit different. And Tifa's finally going to tell us a bit of the truth, which you can see as you're playing through the game. You see a bit of it. Because when Cloud is telling the story to Tifa, Tifa's like, she's really apprehensive. Because Cloud is telling the story wrong. Cloud is not telling the story of what happened. And, okay, no. Cloud did have a childhood. This is him jonesing. Like, there was a part of Cloud that it was real, right? But then this Cloud now is now a form that is part Sephiroth thanks to the DNA, a little bit of Genova because there's a bit of Genova in Sephiroth. It's confusing, but at the end of the day, he is Cloud. But he didn't even get a number, because he is considered a failure. Unlike all those other black shambling cloaks that it's like, those are apparently successes? An interesting thing is that the black cloaks that we saw going around, those are people in there. But they're just in the black cloaks, and you actually get to meet a bunch of them through the game. There's tattoos on them, and you get to talk to them. But as it turns out, that was not always the case. Apparently, they were meant to actually be Parts of Genova floating in the air covered by cloaks. During important plot points, they reveal themselves to be a piece of Genova's body, her right arm, heart, etc. Also, hey, there's Zack, which is interesting because I think this might be what they're actually going to be doing in the remake, because we see the black cloaks flying around Aerith in the new footage there, so I'm like, I wonder. But yeah, Cloud's like, whatever, this is all fake. Cloud's like, who cares? I don't. I saw my mom, I saw the people. It's cool, whatever. Yeah, I went to Tifa's room. There, he played the piano, and he remembers that. I looked in the drawers, and Tifa's like, now is not the time. So that is actually, if you do stuff there, he will bring it up, which is a neat touch. And Cloud's like, yeah, I remember all of this. This for sure happened. Soldier first class, right? And then Cloud's starting to be like, yo, wait, when did I actually enter Soldier? Uh-oh, he's realizing things are not what they seem. So, here marks Cloud's, descent into madness, let's say? Because, boy, he's, it's gonna take a bit to get him over this, for sure. And Tifa here reveals that, well, we'll see later. What is that thing in the ice, I wonder? We'll learn in a bit. But yeah, let's cut away to see what the quirky villains are doing. Not the real villains, but the fun villains, kind of. They do get a lot of characterization, which is good, because I feel like, you know, the equivalent of these guys in, say, Final Fantasy 15 don't actually get as much lovin', and they kind of come out as not being very used. But hey, we got the Promised Land being a ton of materia, because capitalism, that's what it is. Shinra's all about that sick dosh. And Rufus is in love with all this money, and boy, guys, there's something here that's not some, like, it's not all about the money. Something's in the wall. Oh boy. Oh, that's terrifying. And we learn the word weapon. So the weapons are the coolest. And I can't wait to fight them, because it's so cool. And what a good name. It's just weapon, right? So they appear when the planet's in danger and wipe it off. They are the planet's antibodies. They are the ones that save the planet when people get too crazy. And, hey, guess what? Things are getting pretty crazy. So the weapons mostly appear in this game, but actually one of the weapons also appears in Final Fantasy 15, and there's a number of them. It's wild to see a ton of diamond weapons in Final Fantasy 15, and I'm real sad you don't actually get to fight one. I was really hoping for it. But hey, we'll finally get that in the remake, hopefully. I mean, it'll take a while, because to get to those is probably going to be the third game, honestly. And uh-oh. Yo, Barrett, what's going on? Did you have too much Taco Bell? Hey, fart jokes. I'm very happy that Barrett is way less Mr. T and way more Samuel L. Jackson in the remake through the words of the developers, which makes me very happy. Oh, hey, it's Tifa. That's a bit strange that she's here and not over with Cloud. But hey, Tifa, what's up? Boy, it would sure suck if you were some type of gross monster pretending to be Tifa. We gotta go save our best friend, right? Oh boy. Oh boy. He's pretty easily trickable. But then again, anything that can just morph into Tifa, I would believe. God, that's gonna be terrifying in the remake to see this gross. It's kind of like The Thing. like this gross thing monster to just transform between these characters. And even Scarlet's like, you know, this place might not be worth the capitalism. But they sure wanted to get up here. And sure wanted to do that stuff. And oh, they were here this whole time. So yeah, there's like crazy mental poisoning stuff happening with people's vision. And I guess it's because of the live stream being able to like override their senses is what I think I'm getting at, right? Because there's so much concentrated live stream, it can very easily get into their minds, right? And Cloud's going a bit prophetic, let's say. He's not having a good day. And hey, look, there's Barret. Oh boy. The reunion, am I right? Whew, that musical drop ain't the best. Oh, Cloud, you're not having a good time. So I think at this point you can move around and you slowly move over to Barret and you talk to him. And Barret, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do this, bud. Barret, if you give it to him, you're kind of an idiot. Are you alright, man? You fine, bud? Okay, here you go. It's even though I said to never give it to anyone. Oh boy. Yeah, there's stuff going on in all their heads. I think it is affecting definitely everyone here because people just standing around, people very confused at what's happening. I will say, I had friends who were kids when they had this game. They would be confused if they played it. As adults, it makes more sense with the idea of, yeah, there's poisoning, there's stuff going on, the idea of people's senses being blocked. Yeah, it makes more sense. But yeah, as a kid, I could say that this is buck wild and confusing. Oh, you could have fun replacing his name there. So Cloud just accepts that he's a horrible, like, clone experiment monster. Like, he just accepts that idea. You know, like, and Hojo's even like, yo, what number were you? And Cloud's like, he doesn't have one. So what is he? Because he was failed. And Hojo's like, wow, it was one of the failures that made it here? Well, that's gonna need me to go back and rewrite my hypothesis. God, Hojo is an absolute horrible person. And Cloud's like now begging him. Because I guess, in Cloud's eyes, Hojo is like his father right now, even though that's the furthest from the truth. And he's kind of floating up. It's very confusing. I don't know what actually happened there. But, yeah, he's a Sephiroth clone I created after the real Sephiroth died 5 years ago. So he's not, again, he's not a clone. And he's not a 5-year-old clone. But he's just... So, Cloud died in the fire. They injected him with the clone fluids to bring him back to life. And for 5 years, he has been not himself, but he has been part Sephiroth, is what it is. Yeah, now the clones are coming back together to reunite to form the true Genova. You know, but so I thought the clones would begin it together in Midgar, where Genova was, because that was the Genova core. But Genova moved away and became... He's just chilling out on the roof. I'm not exactly sure how or why he's doing that, but sure, man. So Sephiroth basically wants to control everyone and everything by controlling his clones through a core. And the core, as we will soon learn, is chillin'. Oh, I say soon, but it's like, there might be in a bit. But it's chillin' here, as you can tell, because that's where we're all converging. And we'll see where he is in a bit. So Sephiroth is their final destination, which is why they've all been coming up north here. converging together at the reunion. And so then we learn, like, yeah, no, Cloud wasn't pursuing Sephiroth. He was being summoned. So his drive to reach Sephiroth was not of his own want. It was something that was basically forced on him, which is why he's always like, yeah, we gotta go get Sephiroth. Cloud doesn't actually even care, really. What he just needs is he's fulfilling his duty of, I gotta return it. Why and how he's on the ceiling, I will never know. Anyways, we can chill out up here, walk around. And we actually get to see, as we move up, there he is. The original Sephiroth is in the core there. Which is a problem. When you realize, hey, Sephiroth is getting the black materia, which can destroy the world, which is not good. Oh, Hojo's so nihilistic, he doesn't care if the world gets destroyed to fulfill science. Yeah, and Rufus is like, oh man, no amount of capitalism can bring everyone back to life, so let's skedaddle out of here. Why and how Cloud is floating up there, we may never know until the remake. Maybe he's just doing some, like, you know, well, if the Genova parts can fly around, I guess he can too, which does explain why he floats above the ground when he dashes in Smash Bros. That's his Genova cells making him a floaty boy. Yeah, but that's a bad idea, but okay. So yes, the whole game, as I said, we've not been pursuing the real Sephiroths. Those have all been the genetic copies that are just Genova kind of reformatting themselves to be similar. But yeah, to say this is bad is it's a bit of an understatement, because, whew. So they get out of here, thankfully. I mean, aside from Cloud. And, oh, here we go. The weapons are waking up and they're so cool. There's Diamond Weapon. We'll fight him later. And the other one there was a Sapphire Weapon. There's Ultima Weapon, which is a dope one that we do fight. Aw, Tifa's boobles are massive in this one scene. And that's why people aren't happy with the remake, but it's literally just for this one scene. So those three... Okay, so there's Ruby. Ruby is one that I don't fight yet. I might actually go back and fight him just because I kind of want to. He's the super boss. We naturally don't fight him. There's also one more, which is Emerald, which I have not fought yet, which is another bonus boss, which you fight underwater. Yeah, they make horrifying, horrible screams. And Cloud is not having a good time. So you might be wondering, where is Cloud? Well, we'll learn that in a little bit. He just needs some time alone, I guess. Just walking in the void. The debug void. But Tifa's here. Now, Tifa was on the airship. So whether this is the Tifa in Cloud's memories, or if it's Tifa just like mind linking with him. I'm not sure, but it's pretty open to interpretation. So this is where she found him way back in the day. She's not having a good time, just moaning on the ground. And I mean, that haircut is extremely recognizable. I mean, it's not like you could mistake who that could be. Normally this happens after one too many drinks at Tifa's bar, so she's used to it. But then Cloud recognizes her. But then again, like at this point, like, is this the actual Cloud, or is this a, you know, the copy using the memories? And then he does his little cool hair flip pose, which is, again, kind of his coping mechanism. And she does recognize him, which again, I'm fully gonna say, this is the Cloud mixed with the cells, because this game is so old and the translation is not 100% right, there's people who think, no, he's not Cloud at all, he's the clone, and it's complicated. Yeah, you look really scrawny. What happened, Cloud? She says, watching the E3 trailer that first happened. I'm very happy they bulked him up a bit. But yeah, no, he's suddenly much better. He's confident. He's just holding the sword in one hand. And then she turns around and he's like, oh man, here it comes. So you can actually see bits of Cloud's kind of weirdness in apparently the demos for the remake, where he will, whenever they talk about his past, there's static, but it's not like electricity static like this, it's like TV static, which I think is a real good way to kind of show that off. And Tifa's even like, she's telling what happened now. What happened, you know? It's sort of like running into a friend, and you'll know when things feel off. And in this case, yeah, like this Cloud knows things that he shouldn't, which makes you go, huh. And the reason that Tifa hired him was not because she actually, you know, wanted him to carry out the missions, but because she was worried about him and how he was off, and she wanted to watch him, which is like, if you don't think, you know, Tifa and Cloud's relationship is the true canon one, you're kind of crazy, because boy, it sure makes it seem like it here. I mean, ship Cloud with Aerith all you want, it ain't gonna bring her back to life, you know what I'm saying? They will not change that in the remake. People are saying that they will. That's insane. And boy, we wake up in someplace. Ding! Ding? Alarm clock? So yes, Barret and Tifa are safe, but this game does pull a bit of a chrono trigger. We won't have Cloud with us for a good while, which is one of the craziest JRPG tropes that I love, where it's like, yeah, just the main character is gone for an extended period. And Barret, over time, has warmed up to Cloud, because at the beginning he didn't trust him. But I guess he was kind of right to not trust him, because at the end he turned out to be a Sephiroth clone. But at the same time, he can't help turn away a friend, you know? And she's been asleep for 7 days. And the first thing she asks is, oh my god, Sephiroth, and not, I need to eat. Yeah, so the weapons are out, and they will be attacking people, which we'll get to see. Dealing with the weapons is our next big thing. And it's interesting they refer to weapon as a singular, like it's one unit broken into many, which I think can kind of make sense, because if you look, they kind of look like parts that could add up to a whole. Like, all I'm saying is, please let me see the Megazord transformer that is the complete weapon. That'd be so cool. I think there is one other weapon that is in, I think it's Dirge Cerberus, which is the sequel to this, kind of? I mean, it's a sequel with, oh, and it's one of these scenes where you can walk around. It's a sequel as much as, you know, Advent Children is. And hey, that doesn't look good. That small one's the moon. The big one is Meteor. And hey, we're in Juon. Or Junin. So, that's a bit of a problem. Thankfully, unlike, say, a Majora's Mask, we don't have to worry about it falling in real time. It goes with the plot, you know, because that'd be a worry. But we're kind of trapped here. There's nothing much for us to do aside from try and escape. But I'm sure Heidegger, who, you know, is not very happy with us, won't let that happen. In fact, yes, he is trying to execute us. To be fair, we are technically eco-terrorists. And then he says, well, we're also causing the end of the world, which is really ironic when you think about it, that we're the one being executed for killing the world when they were the ones using the world for capitalism and slowly killing it. To say this game is not political is actually insane. But yeah, we actually get to see a bit of the Junin headquarters here. Look at those old, beautiful PCs. Please do not update those when this game comes out on in the remake. I love them. And yeah, we have our arms tied and Barrett's able to skedaddle around. I love it so much. But yeah, so this is about it for this part. Lots of stuff has happened. Next time we'll be back for some more Final Fantasy VII, where we try and escape our execution. We'll see you then for some more, guys. Ciao.